I welcome my dear friend, German Foreign Minister Yöhān Waadpol to Jerusalem. This is the first visit of Foreign Minister to Israel since we launched Operation Roaring Lion against the Iranian terror regime. Minister, you are mostly welcome, always. Thank you. I believe it reflects our strategic friendship with Germany. Our joint action with the United States against the Iranian regime comes amid the international community's long-standing failure to prevent nuclear proliferation from mad regimes. This happened in the mid-90s with North Korea. East Asia, including our mutual friends, Japan and South Korea, would have been safer if past leaders had acted on time. Unfortunately, there's a reality now that can't be reversed. Israel acted to prevent nuclear proliferation from mad regimes. In 1981, under the Prime Minister Menachem Begin, Israel destroyed Saddam Hussein's nuclear program in Iraq. The international community condemned Israel then. The same international community later formed coalition against Saddam Hussein in 1991 and 2003. Some of those that condemned us later thanked us for making their operations possible. We don't know what they would have done if Saddam Hussein had nuclear weapons. I personally heard it in Washington, D.C. from a very, very senior officials in 2002 that America is lucky Israel acted in 1981. In 2007, Israel destroyed the Syrian nuclear reactor of the murderous Assad regime, the same dictator that the world later boycotted, that used chemical weapons against his own people afterwards and killed so many of them. Imagine what Assad would have done with nuclear weapons had Israel not acted. He clearly would have still been in power today. Last June, and in our current operation, Israel and the United States, under the leadership of Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Donald Trump, acted to prevent the world's most dangerous regime from obtaining the world's most dangerous weapon. We launched our historic operation with the United States based on conclusive intelligence that the regime was planning on bringing its nuclear and ballistic missiles programs in deep underground facilities. We had to act a moment before they reached immunity from airstrikes. Not acting was far more dangerous than acting, despite risks involved. We are now witnessing Iran's savage attacks against almost all the countries in the region. This is how it behaves without a nuclear umbrella. Imagine what it could do if it had one. Chancellor Merz was right when he said that Israel is doing the dirty work for all of us. The international community enjoys the results of our actions, yet it's not always supportive, to say the least, while we are acting. Now, along with the United States, we are preventing nuclear proliferation and a nuclear race in the world's most dangerous region. For 47 years, the Iranian regime had spread terror and bloodshed across the Middle East and beyond. It financed and arms its proxy terror states, Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis. The regime is responsible for the 2 huge terror attacks in Buenos Aires in the 90s, taking 114 lives and wounding over 500. A German court found the regime responsible for the 1992 Mykonos restaurant assassinations in Berlin. 4 Iranian Kurdish opposition leaders were murdered there in cold blood. The Islamic Center Hamburg was banned by the German government in July 2024 for acting as a base for the Iranian regime's terror. Iran was behind the terror attacks against synagogues in the German cities of Bochum and Essen in 2022 and 2023. The regime is recruiting criminal gangs across Europe to target Iranian dissidents and Jewish communities and Israeli diplomats from London to Stockholm. This regime is assassinating its own people. For years, the Ayatollah regime violently and cruelly suppressed wave after wave of protests by Iranians seeking freedom. It publicly hangs political opponents, executes women and homosexuals. This tragic process reached its peak this January when the evil regime butchered probably over 30,000 of its own people. Brave Iranians struggled for their freedom, but the international community didn't answer their plea for help. This terror regime cannot be brought down without the people of Iran. This is clear. Yet without external help, the Iranian people cannot regain their freedom. All those that called during the last days for de-escalation are ensuring escalation for the people of Iran and for the Middle East and beyond, decades forward. Dear Minister, under Iranian pressure, Hezbollah joined the war on March 2nd, just as it did on October 8, 2023. It did so against the will of the Lebanese people and government. Hezbollah military wing said this Friday, I'm quoting, "We pledge to the pure blood of martyred leader Imam Khamenei. We won't abandon the resistance. We won't abandon our arms." Since joining the war, Hezbollah fired over 800 missiles and drones at Israel, aiming deliberately at civilian population. Over the past week, more attacks have come from Lebanese soil than Iran. Our citizens in the north live in imminent danger, at times too close for the sirens to alert them of incoming Hezbollah terror missiles. Lebanon hasn't dismantled Hezbollah since the November 2024 ceasefire, despite its commitment to do so. Yet, there are those in the international community that recommended we simply live with a terror state on our border and get used to that. I recommend those preachers, stop lecturing us. We will welcome any volunteers from the international community willing to dismantle Hezbollah. Until now, nobody, not even the glorious UNIFIL, has done anything significant to solve the problem. Unfortunately, this situation demonstrates the Iranian axis formed and built as part of its plan to eliminate Israel. They will be defeated. Dear Minister, Germany led the process of designating Iran's Revolutionary Guards as a terror organization in the EU. We commend your principled leadership in Europe and on world stage. I believe it's high time for countries to take the next moral step and cut all diplomatic ties with the terror regime that you yourselves defined as having no legitimacy. I want to thank Chancellor Merz for his firm support for Israel and commitment to fighting anti-Semitism. And I want to thank you, dear Yוהאן, for your friendship and solidarity. Thank you for coming to Israel today.